How to find zeros for quadratic function? Describe three possible ways that you could determine the zeros for the quadratic function f of x equals to minus 3x squared plus 21x minus 36. So let's look into this function f of x equals to minus 3x squared plus 21x minus 36. As we see, 3 is a common factor, so let me first write this in a factored form. So the common factor is minus 3, so I'm taking that minus 3 out, left with x squared minus 7x plus 12. So that is our function. Now we need to find different ways of solving this. So one of the way to solve any quadratic equation is to do factoring. So factor is a good way of solving. And second is quadratic equation. So for any equation for that matter, not only this, these are general ways of doing it. So quadratic equation. Now when we say quadratic equation, then we are trying to say that x could be found with the formula, which is minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a, where a is the coefficient of x squared, so where the equation is of the form y equals to ax squared plus bx plus c, right? So a is the leading coefficient or the coefficient of x squared, b is the coefficient of x, and c is the constant. Now as you can see, a solution means you're finding zeros, and for a quadratic function you may have two zeros if this is positive, 1 0 if this is 0, and no 0 if this is negative. So those are possible solutions. Now in this question we have mentioned three possible solutions. So third possible solution is depending on the equation, and one of them is graph. So you can always sketch a graph and get a solution. It may not be accurate, but gives you a fairly good idea about the solution. So you can make a table of values, and those set of values can be plotted on a graph to get the solution. So these are the three different ways in which you can find solution for any quadratic function, right? So let's see which one works better for us now. So in this case, can we factor it? Let's try that. Factoring probably is the best and fastest way of getting a solution. So we are looking for two terms whose product is 12 and whose sum is minus 7. So that could be 3 times 4. 4 times 3 is 12, and both negative when combined gives us minus 7. So we do get a solution here. So we get x minus 4 times x minus 3. So that gives us solution. Now as I said, possible solution is to find zeros. So when will this be 0? This can be 0 for x equals to 4 or x equals to 3. So this particular equation has two possible solutions. So that is one way of doing it, right? The other way of doing it is, as I said, using quadratic equation itself or the formula. Let's say we should call it quadratic formula, right? As given to you here. So when I factor it, this helps me to work with smaller numbers. So what we can do is write down quadratic formula and find the solution. So we can say that now I'm looking for a solution where x squared minus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0. So for that, x is equals to minus of b, that means minus of minus 7 plus minus square root of minus 7 squared minus 4 times a is 1 for me, and c is 12 within square root divided by 2 times a, which is 1. So then I get what? Minus of minus 7 is 7 plus minus square root of minus 7 square root is 49, and then we have 4 times 12 is 48. So minus 48 square root divided by 2. So that gives us 7 plus minus 49 minus 48 is 1, which is square root is 1. So we get 2. So now we see there are two particular solutions. One is with plus sign, one is with the minus 1, right? So we have 7 plus 1, which is 8 over 2 as one solution, and 7 minus 1, which is 6 over 2 as the other solution. So we get two solutions, and one of them is 4 indeed, and the other one is 3. So we get the same solution as we found earlier with the help of quadratic formula, correct? So quadratic formula is you should say the ultimate way of solving any quadratic equation for that matter. Use your calculator and get the solution. And the third one is plotting the graph, right? So now, since we have the solutions now, it's easier for me to show it on a graph, right? So the graph will be that you have two x-intercepts and it's opening downwards, right? So whenever you're plotting graph, well, I'll leave that for you for the time being. So just put some values for x and plot your graph. So basically you'll find that you do have roots at 4 and 3. So let's say your graph has some roots at 4 and 3, and if you put x equals to 0 in this equation, you get your y-intercept as minus 36. So when you plot your graph, for example, let me just draw a line here to show you. So let us say when you plot a graph, you will get this point as minus 36, right? But this is not your solution. Your solution is these points, the points at which the graph crosses x-axis. Do you understand? Those are your solutions you're looking for when you sketch a graph. And if you sketch a graph of this function, then you'll find these x-intercepts at 3 and 4, and that becomes the solution for your quadratic function. I hope with this video you understand now how to find solution for any given quadratic function. You need to adopt the method which is best suited for the given situation. But these are 3 good ways of finding solution of any quadratic equation. Thank you and all the best.